Facts. A little acknowledgement seems to be in order. Wow.
Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mac at Night. I'm waiting on everybody to join in as far as my co-host. There goes Ashley. Hey, Miss Peach 74, what's going on? All right, there goes Michaela. Ashley, Michaela and Jacoya request to be in.
Hi.
Hey, Ashley.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Armani.
Yeah. Are you ready for another show?
I'm so ready. I'm so excited for our show today, our guests, our topics, the game. I'm so excited.
Period. All right, all right, this is Jacoya requested being. Except Michaela. All right, we about to get this thing started, y'all. Once they join in.
Michaela.
Hey, Michaela.
Hi.
I pressed accept on Jacoya, but I don't know what's going on.
I think she might have waited for a second because give me 1 second. I think I can't see the text message because we on live.
Hey, just the artist.
But we could definitely bring her on.
I'm pressing accept. I don't know what's going on.
No problem. I can give y'all an overview before we start too. How is everybody?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good.
Jacoya, try to like unrequest yourself, then request again, because I'm not sure what's going on.
All right. So before we get started, I just want to give y'all an overview of our special guest. I'm very excited to, come on with you all tonight and actually be with you all and interview.
Hi.
There you go. There you go.
Hi.
Hey, Jacoya.
Sorry. Hi. Let me get
No, you're good. You're good. I was just giving them an overview. I wanted to say how I met you.
Oh, yeah.
It was when I went to Atlanta and I was trying to grow my lash business. And before I went, I was just reaching out to people and, just seeing, who will allow me to lash them to give me a chance out there. And Jacoya was actually one of them. And when we met each other, we were on the same page. It was kind of like me coming from Maryland, going to Atlanta. I was like, I don't know how these people going to act. I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know what their temperature going to be like. I'm just here. And to find out at the end of her appointment or closer to the end, she was on the same page. She was like, I don't know if I'm about to get scammed. I don't know who this person is and stuff like that. So I was just like, oh my gosh.
Super nervous.
Yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, we really hit it off. And I was so thankful to have met her. And I felt like we would really like stick together and do big things together. And we always said we would stay in touch. So I'm very, very, very excited tonight. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
I'm excited. I've never met you, Jacoya. I'm Armani Rose. I'm really excited to get into your story. Just based off the bio. I'm just really interested to see what some of your responses are to our questions. So thank you for being a part.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. You can probably tell I'm jittery over here. I was trying to get my setup going. My son's like, go sit down. But no, I'm really excited. I'm so excited to be here and just to get to talk to you guys and hopefully just share my little journey. Look, my light keeps going off, so sorry.
It's totally okay. And then right in our bottom left corner, we have Cash_IMG.
Yes.
Well,
nice to meet you. I'm very excited like everybody else. I've heard nothing but good things from Michaela about you, so I'm ready to get into the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's get started. So tonight we have Jacoya Rivers, and Jacoya Rivers is a Kansas City, Missouri native residing in Atlanta. As a determined mom, Jacoya moved to Atlanta when her son was only 11 months old to pursue her dream of acting, modeling, and entrepreneurship. Upon moving, she started making major strides in the industry by booking on sets such as The Game, the show Star. I had to pause on that because it's like we not talking about no little shows here, okay? And even got to be a stand-in for Tiana Taylor in the Coming to America sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just let that ride right there. She recently walked in LA Fashion Week, was featured in Voyage ATL magazine for her henna work, and was featured in the Champion newspaper for her philanthropy work with her non-profit, Homies with the Homeless. She has a true passion for leaving a long-lasting impact in everything that she does, and doesn't allow anything to stop her. When it comes to securing her bag, as a mobile henna artist, I get tongue tied. Her henna work has graced the hands of rapper Soleil, actor and director Breely Evans, as well as Georgia House Representative Erica Thomas, just to name a few. She has a passion about art and using gifts to be a creative. As a manifestation diva, as she calls it, Koya is always searching for the next enlightening experience that will align with each goal set to be checked off her list next. So I don't know about y'all.
I'm excited to make it sound so good.
Thank you.
Come on, resume.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, stop talking about it already.
No, it's you and your life, and I'm just blown away, and I'm shocked because I'm sitting here like, girl, I didn't know all this when I was doing your last. So I'm excited. I have
climbing my way up.
I definitely understand, and I do have questions for you. So to start off, from growing up in Kansas, Missouri, to now residing in Atlanta, Georgia, could you tell us how that transition was for you and what made you move?
Well, I moved because I always wanted to live here. Like when I was younger, I used to watch all the movies, and it's like I wanted to go to college here when I was like growing up. But my mom was like, "That's too far," so it was never, something that aligned at the time. But when I had my son, they moved here when I was in school, and I knew I always wanted to live in a big city like New York, LA, modeling, like that's, model mayhem, go to New York. But it's so expensive to live out there. And I'm like, all right, like what's going to be a good place to go where I can do everything that I want to do, but it's a good segue. And Georgia just kind of fit. I had family here, and it's known as like Black Hollywood now. So it just seemed like, the best place to at least start and see how I like the big city vibe, and then try to climb my way up. And so far, I love it. I love it here.
I definitely understand. I love Atlanta too. All right. So Jacoya, you're in Atlanta. You're a mom to your 11-month-old son at the time, and you're pursuing your dreams. Could you walk us through how that process was for you?
Sheesh. I mean, it was a lot. I mean, coming to a new city alone by yourself is a lot. Like, with minimal family, no friends. Like when we came, we sold everything. Like, so all my furniture, everything from my house, like we got rid of everything and just came. No job coming here too. Like most people, you plan to have a job. None of that. Like we came just on must see faith. Like we know what we're coming for. We know what we want to do, but we're just going to trust, that instinct's going to lead us there. Spirit's going to lead us there. So it was definitely nerve-wracking at first because I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, coming from a small town, everybody knows everybody. In a city like Atlanta, it's a lot different. I can get from one side of my state to another in 30 minutes. Here, you go 10 miles, it's 30 minutes. So it's like one of those things I had to really get used to. Sorry about my light. It's going to keep doing that. But nonetheless, it was definitely difficult at first. It was so fast paced. Like when I first got here, I remember the first week, I got the opportunity to like set up at this festival called the Sweet Auburn Fest. And it's a big festival. It's down on Sweet Auburn where like Martin Luther King's house is. And I remember just being like, oh, I'm so excited. And then I got there and I was so overwhelmed. It was so many people and just a new environment. And I was just like, oh my God. And after that, it just seemed like opportunities just started coming so quick that I had a panic attack. Like I genuinely had a panic attack because it was one of those things where I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to being around, you know, so many things that could change my life so quickly. And yeah, it was difficult at first. You know, when you move to a new city, you hit obstacles, things happen, you know, you don't know what to expect. But I think that it was a learning experience. For me and my son's father, we all came here together. We sold everything and came here as a little family. So it was definitely a humbling experience, like just knowing that we had to climb our way to the top. You know, when we go home, everybody knows who I am. You know, I go home, my town is small. I can, you know, go into a room and be like, oh, I know so-and-so. But here it's like, nobody knows me. So I have to really, you know, put myself in rooms and speak up and, you know, actually create opportunities for myself when they don't necessarily exist, and just kind of like not be afraid despite the fact that, you know, you should be. You know, you're here in a city that's huge. You don't know anybody. My 4th month, my car got broken into. My luggage got taken. I was going to set. So things happen. Like I had to like really like keep the ball rolling no matter what. Like things were coming at me left and right where I felt like, okay, should I go home? Like, you know, constantly questioning, like, should I go back? And I just, you know, had to stay out of my head and just remind myself, like, you know what you came for. You know what you came for. You know, I always come back to that. I know why I came here. And yeah, it was tough at first, but, you know, I expected it to be a little hard. So, you know, I'm glad I stayed.
No, I'm
Yeah,
glad you stuck to it.
I definitely can relate to that because I moved out here to Houston. I'm originally from Maryland, like the rest of the co-hosts. And I moved out here to Houston maybe like a year and a half or maybe 2 years after college, just off a dream, faith. You know what I'm saying? No job, just like you, selling stuff out of my closet to make it out here.
Literally.
So I definitely understand for sure.
And that's the best though. Like that's the best like growth, like where you can really just say that you came and just trusted your spirit and didn't, you know what was going to happen. Like that's when you fall into those, you know, opportunities where you're like, okay, this was meant for me. Like this is my purpose. Yeah. And looking behind you, like it looks like you made a nice living for yourself. Like so that you came here, you know, with nothing or, you know, minimal, and, you know, climbing up. Like it's a liberating feeling, you know, and you can just show just so much more gratitude knowing that.
Facts.
All right. So you've been about this acting life, and that's definitely a fact. From the show The Game to Star, could you tell us how it was to be a stand-in for the illustrious Teyana Taylor in the sequel Coming to America?
It was really, really cool. And I will say, like, I'm still climbing my way up. Like, I am by no means, like, where I want to be in my acting career. Like, it takes a while. Like, even Tiffany Haddish, like, I don't know if people really pay attention, but back in the day, she used to be, like, extra on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Like, she was literally, like, climbing her way up. Like, so, and it's like that in the industry. Like, you have to, you know, get work to show that you can be represented. So it's a lot of, like, auditions, being told no, and, you know, just keep going, like keep yourself, you know, like going and motivated. But standing in for Teyana Taylor was really awesome. Like she is honestly the epitome of like where I want to be in my career. She's a director, a mom, you know, she sings, she acts, like she dances. Like those are all things that I feel like I embody and want to be able to one day just show the world. And I'm grateful because I remember watching her on Sweet 16, genuinely. Like I watched her whole episode. Like she inspired my 13th birthday party. Oh, wow. So to think of, no, I'm not joking. Like once I saw her little baby doll thing, I remember, Mama, I want to do that. And I'm like, I can't wait 3 years. Like we don't have to do this right now. Like so I had a whole party like that. And I just remember seeing her and thinking like, wow, like she's dope. Like we're close in the same age. So to think that I used to imagine like seeing her and Keke Palmer and people that I used to genuinely just be in my little town looking at on TV, you know, thinking that it was unreachable, you know, and then to come to a city like this and be able to stand in the same rooms with them and be able to like take pictures and like brush shoulders. And like I said, like get opportunities where I can work with them hands-on, it's amazing because it just reminds me how strong our brains are and how powerful our spirit is. And if you just stay focused and grounded and just kind of like believe, I always say like believing is the biggest thing, because you can be as smart as I don't know what and have all the opportunities in front of you, but if you don't believe that you're capable, it doesn't matter. And I really try to stay, you know, out of my head with negativity, like, and keep my mind positive, because I know that's really important when manifesting. And I'm like, I remember like thinking like, dang, like, okay, I used to watch her and now we're working together. And I remind myself of that now when I get down and I start struggling and stuff starts happening. I'm like, you know what? You used to imagine where you are, you know, and think about what you wanted, and all you got to do is start imagining more, start imagining bigger, dream bigger. And that's literally all I do all day. I sit at home, meditate. Like when I'm with my son, he'd be like, you want to meditate? I'm like, come on, let's go. And we really just sit and try to like keep our brains, I say out of the gutter all the time, because life will really make you feel like things are just like, you know, when the negative things are happening, like it'll really put you in a bad headspace. And it's sometimes hard to maneuver through that. And I really try to like tell myself every day, like if you train your brain to be a certain way, more often than not, when those things happen, they won't even affect you, because you'll have so many things coming your way because of the positive things that you've done. When things do happen, it'll be expected. You'll be able to continue maneuvering and get to where you're going. And that's kind of how I've been since I lived here. Like since I moved here, I had to be like that, because I realized this is new. It's big. I don't know anybody. People don't know me. And it's hard. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy being in a city like this, being told no so much, being, you know, thinking you're getting somewhere and then realizing like, okay, I'm still at the bottom. Like, all right, like, you know, like you climbing. But it's like, I also remind myself, like, these are still wins. Like everything that you're doing is a blessing to keep going. A blessing to be able to say that I can do what I love. You know, it's people out here who clock in every day and hate it. You know, I have a 9-to-5 still, and I'm like, all right, I need to figure out how I don't even have to do this anymore. So it's like, you know, I can relate to being on a job and not liking it, and, you know, chasing the dream and having to, like you said, like sell these things to make the next, you know, opportunity come. And I just, you know, I stay grounded. I stay grateful. You know, when I see my son, I remind myself, like, he's the reason. Like, all I have to do is be his mom and make sure he's good. Everything else is extra. And when I keep that in my mind, like, I don't get just, you know, I don't let anything bother me. I be moving through life. Like, whatever comes, comes. And whatever doesn't, that's just time for me to chill out. So, yeah, that's kind of...
It's so crazy that you speak about, you know, putting your mind in a positive space. I was actually reminding myself of that today while I was just clearing my mind today. I was off today or whatever. And, you know, being out here or going wherever you are on your own is definitely, I mean, in my experience, it wasn't easy. You know, I talk about all the time with my friends how, like, sometimes it's lonely. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have, you know, those family members. You don't have those family members or those friends that you can go down the street or around the corner and, you know, just chit and just chat with. And you know what I'm saying? Have dinner with or go to a bar with and stuff like that. You're kind of really just like doing it on your own and figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? And while I get to talk to my friends on FaceTime and my family on FaceTime, is nothing like that in person
interaction.
Like I can touch you and hug you type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? And then when you're out here by yourself trying to figure it out, it's like, for me, my mind was going 1,000 miles per minute trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to get a job, how I'm going to do
a lot of
pressure.
pressure.
That. You know what I'm saying? So I salute to you for continuing to keep going throughout all your adversities with being in Atlanta. That takes a lot of bravery.
Thank you. And same to you. I mean, for anybody, moving out of state alone is a lot. And then, you know, you add a kid on top of that, and not like, you know, when I think about when I go home, it's like we got babysitters here, there, and here. It's like we got a couple people in my family that live here who also have their own busy lives. So sometimes it's just, you know, making sacrifices where I can't get to this gig because I got to be a mom, you know, and being okay with that, and, you know, not being resentful, you know, still being able to enjoy life and enjoy my baby, and, you know that if that's my opportunity, it's going to come to me and I won't have to force it. You know, I won't have to do all of these things that make myself so, you know, overworked just because I'm trying to get to the bag. It's like, no, if the bag's going to come to me, because I'm going to be in this position to accept it and receive it, you know, based on the things that I put in place. And I have to really say on myself about that, because I do so many things that I get so like, I have these goals, these big, big goals. And I'm like, I want to do this and that and that. And I'm like, but I got to make sure he's good. And I ain't putting him in school because he needs to know this and that. And it's just like, I want to be a great mom and all of these things. And it gets overwhelming. It does. But like I said, it's just one of those things where I remind myself, like, diamonds don't come from rolling in the dryer. They come from pressure. You know, they come from being put under a lot of pressure. And if I can take it, I'm okay. And I'm still alive, and I'm still here. My mind is still sane, and my son is great. So I'm blessed. I look around at my friends and family, they're healthy. So it's just like, as long as all of that's taken care of, everything else is extra. This, you know, fame and all of that stuff is just extra. If I don't get it, I'm happy. I can do what I love and, you know, make a little money doing what I love, and being able to, you know, inspire other people to hopefully do what they love. Like, that's really what it's all about for me. And connecting with people, like these type of moments, being able to meet people all over the world. Bless you.
Thank you.
That's really what I love about it the most. You know, I love networking. Like when we were talking, she's doing my lashes and I'm trying not to open my eyes because I'm like, I don't know who she looks like. We got masks on. And like finally just being able to have this interaction alone is really cool for me, because COVID kind of changed like how we interact with people in general. And just being able to like finally like talk and go out and touch people is like really, really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely just happy to be here and share my little journey with you guys, and hopefully learn more about y'all too.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm just cheesing over here. I'm excited. I'm listening. All right. So my next question for you is, what interests you to get into the modeling game, and what motivated you to keep going?
Oh, Jesus, I've been modeling for so long. Like I used to do pageants. I was one of those little girls that you see that did the pageants. So I started in pageants when I was younger. And like once I I got out of pageants and started modeling. So it's kind of really been something that I've literally always done since I was a little. It sounds like so cliche, but it's so true. Like since I was a little girl, it's always been like a part of my journey. And I just always saw myself like one day wanting to go to America's Next Top Model and, you know, just do something, you know, be creative. I'm an artist at heart. Like I love to draw, DIYs, like anything that allows me to be creative. I just really enjoy. And I feel like modeling is like I'm art with my body. Like I can use my physical body as art and be able to, you know, connect with people, tell stories. And I just love that. So it's always something that's been, you know, on my heart and just a part of my journey. And I think acting is something I just started tapping into lately, because I did theater in high school and college. So it was always something I loved. Also, like just being able to express myself. I'm super expressive. I use my hands, my face all the time. So yeah, it's just, I enjoy being able to create in all forms. Like it doesn't even stop with just modeling. Like I said, I love to paint, henna. Like that's why like I started out just doing henna on myself, and then people were like, oh, I want that. I'm like, no. Like I went 2 years denying people from getting henna because I didn't want to do it. I was like, I enjoy this for me. But I finally just started opening myself up, like, okay, like this is obviously something that is a gift, like use it, you know. So I love art, and I feel like modeling is like, you know, art in its own form. And yeah, it's a part of who I am.
No,
Absolutely.
I definitely understand, because like I told you before, I used to model, but I didn't stick to it. And I know how it feels.
Too late, girl.
Book after booking after booking after booking. You don't get no downtime. It's just a lot.
It's just the whole idea, like the glitz, the glam. Like I love it. Like I love getting up early, doing my skincare, packing my bag. Like it's like a whole experience, and it's like every time you get to recreate who you are, almost like depending on who am I going to be today. And I love that about it. I love that I get to literally like, you know, play dress up all day, like if I want to, you know. And it's an excuse to do it, you know, because I'm getting content or I'm using this to create the next opportunity. So it's almost like a hobby turned into something that I'm able to make money from.
Exactly. No, I definitely understand.
I love your transparency, and I just resonate so much with a lot of what you said already, especially about how you had doubts after you moved to Atlanta about if I should go back home because you had struggles, but you never gave up. So it is easy to, you know, say, you know, I'm do this, I'm an actress, I do this and that, but not a lot of people always talk about their struggles. So I do want to let you know that I admire your transparency, and I want to congratulate you for your LA Fashion Week because
Thank
you
you.
recently walked there. Yes, that is a big deal, and I want to know more about that. Like, was that process easy? Was it hard? Was it scary? Because LA is a big deal.
It is. Honestly, that was so crazy for me because I had got booked to do that a couple years before, and it just didn't align. Like, my son was really little, and I didn't, like, I'm one of those moms, like, he's with me or his dad everywhere. I don't really like to put him on people a lot just because you know, things are different today than when we grew up. So, like, when opportunities come, if they conflict with me being able to, you know, assign him to somebody who I feel, you know, can handle it, like, I'm like, okay, opportunity, bye. Like, so for me, like, when you know, that happened, I was kind of down about it, but I'm like, it's cool. It didn't align. So this year when I got booked, and I'm like, he's 4, he's big enough now. He talks, like, I'm going to go. And I had a lot of support to go. And it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was hard. It's just like any other submission, like with any gig you submit. And, you know, if they like you, they contact you and say, hey, we want to book you. So all I did was went and applied, like, I literally go every day. I go to my Actors Access. I go to my little site, and I go apply for gigs all day. Literally, like, I don't have an agent right now. I've been trying to find an agent and see who I feel, you know, comfortable with. But when I'm my own agent, I'm freelance. So I literally spend hours of my day going to submit for stuff, and that was just one of the ones that I submitted for, and they called me back, and I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So getting there was a little tricky because I'm coming from Atlanta. The time difference kind of threw me off. Like, that was a lot to get used to. I'm not gonna lie. It's only 3 hours at the time, but having to, like, call back home and check on my son and, like, keep reminding myself, like, that was a lot on top of the show. Like, so it was little things where I'm like, all right, this is new for me. Like, I'm a mom out here in LA by myself. But it was an amazing experience, just start to finish, from, you know, going and arriving at the airport and, like, just seeing, like I said, I have an organization called Homies with the Homeless, and I don't know if people know about Skid Row in LA, but, like, that was a lot, like, to get there and realize, like, wow, like, there's a space for me here, like, because I always wanted to live there. So it was just kind of nostalgic to finally get there and be able to touch that space and meet people and make connections there. And I booked a photo shoot while I was in LA at Fashion, which was really cool. Just stuff I didn't expect. You know, I didn't have expectations for the trip at all. I just told myself I wanted to go and be able to just do what I love and, you know, walk in my purpose, and whatever opportunities come to me will come. And yeah, it was awesome. It was dope. And then it was I think some cast members from Basketball Wives were there. So it was kind of cool. Like, they had the show being filmed. So apparently it's going to be on VH1 or something. I don't, because most of the time when I do, like, stuff, like, I'll be doing, like, feature or background stuff. So I don't a lot of times expect to even catch myself, because they do a lot of cutting when you film. Like, you'll film for 18 hours and think that they're going to get all of this scene, and they show like 30 seconds of it. So it's like, you never really know what's going to be there unless you're booked for something specific. So I don't really even, like, catch some stuff until people be like, oh, I saw you here, and I'm like, oh, dang, I forgot about that. That was 4 months ago. Like, you know, because they don't show it till almost the next year, so you done forgot you even booked the role. Like, so I think I'm not trying to be modest when I say, like, and I'm like, oh, it's just really sometimes I be forgetting, or I don't even think about, like, dang, okay, I did do that a while ago. Unless it's something I'm looking forward to. Like, the stand-in role, I was definitely, that was on my calendar. I'm like, Tiana Taylor.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting to just, like I said, be able to work with her and see Eddie Murphy. Like, I'm a huge fan of Eddie Murphy. I know all his movies. I have to do improv, all of that. Like, so to see them in person and realize, like, they're human. They're like us. They just got a bigger bag, bigger opportunity, bigger rooms, but they're like you. They get tired. They, and that kind of allowed me to feel like I'm capable of that. Like anybody's capable of doing what they want to do. You just got to put the work in, do the numbers, create your formula and get there. So for me, that's literally what I do all day is figure out my formula. What works for me? What works for my journey? Where do I want to go? I write vision boards all day. I journal all day. I'm literally using my extra time to like cross stuff off and like reevaluate what I want my life to look like and just trying, to create that every single day and whatever that looks like. If that means I don't want to go to work and I want to sleep in, that's what I'm going to do. Like if I want to, go to the park with my baby and then go apply for gigs for the next 2 hours, that's what I'm going to do. Like whatever makes my spirit happy because life is short. I've worked jobs where I've worked for years and stayed loyal to a job because that's just who I am. And I hated it, and I just promised myself like going forward, like with COVID and just all this stuff happening, like war, I don't want to like wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, I wish I would have. No more. Every little thing that I want to do, I'm going to attack it and I'm going to go for it. And whatever gets me where I want to go first wins. And then everything else is a hobby after that, but that's just kind of how I take it. Like I used to get kind of hard on myself, like, oh, I'm trying to do too much. I need to find one thing. And that works for some people. Like I'm not here to say anything is right over the next, whatever works for you works. But I like to wear a lot of hats. I like to be able to say I'm well versed and I want to do everything that makes me happy. I don't want to pick. I want to be able to do henna if I want to and succeed at it. I want to model and succeed at it. I want to, if I want to go back to dancing and succeed at like all of those things, I want to be able to do if that's what my spirit is asking for. And I honor my spirit these days. Like I don't ever question, what my instinct is telling me because I've done that and it's you are unhappy. And then you're regretting it and you're blaming everybody else when you need to blame you, for where you want to be.
Take accountability. And you know what? That resonated with me as far as like when you said you stayed loyal to a company or a job in the past. And it takes a certain amount of bravery to realize that you don't want to be there and then take action on that because society will definitely like corner you and make it seem as though you need to have a 9-to-5 for security, and if you don't, what do you want to do? Because doing what you did, just as applying to LA Fashion Week and then getting the gig and actually taking that leap to go, it takes a certain amount of courage because you don't know what's on the other side. So I'm glad you went, and that brings me to my next question because you did touch on your henna artwork earlier, and I just want to ask you, like, how was that business? How did that come about? How was it going? I know you were featured in the Voyage Atlanta magazine for that. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it came about from, like I said, I started doing henna in college on myself. I used to go get it all the time. And it was getting expensive. Like I used to want to get like a lot, and it just got really expensive to pay for in college. So I'm like, let me figure this out myself. I'm artistic. Like, let me practice. And I just started practicing on myself. And people would be like, oh, where'd you go to get that? I'm like, oh, I did it. Okay, you do mine? I'm like, no. So for a while, like I just didn't feel comfortable like drawing on people. It's like if I do it wrong, you're gonna be mad. Like, no, I don't have time. Like, so for a while I denied people of something that became a gift because I got really good at it. And when I got pregnant and had my son, I had to stay at home. Obviously, I didn't want to put him in daycare. My family at the time lived away, so it was just me, his dad, and aunts and uncles, but like our parents all lived far away. So it was just us. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go back to work. I want to raise him, keep him close. So I'm just going to do henna. Like, so I just started accepting appointments in my house. And over time, like my clients picked up and people started asking me to do events. And it just became something that started as a hobby. And, people would tell me all the time, like, you need to be doing this. Like, your exchange is powerful. Like, the henna in itself is powerful because it has meanings, differently depending on who you are and what the purpose is behind the design. But just that alone, knowing that like I can provide something that helps somebody, that heals somebody, that makes them feel liberated. Like I have people come to me who have alopecia, who want to get their head done because they don't have hair anymore. I've had women who are just like, you know, at a point where they've never shown their body out and they want to like get their whole side because they want to feel sexy. Like everybody has a reason. Some people are going into their womanhood and they want to get henna to like usher them into, you know, adulthood. Like everybody has a purpose behind it. And for me, like I'm all about purpose. And if I can do anything to help somebody find their purpose, to help them, you know, and for me, it's therapy to sit there and draw all day and be able to talk to people and just listen to their stories. Like that helps me. That inspires me. So I always say I love like being empowered by empowering others. And henna allows me to do that. I love it. It's really cool. And I can do it on babies. It's one of those things, it's all natural. So anybody can get it. You can be a newborn, you know, going into 3 months, get henna because it's made out of just a plant, sugar and lemon juice and water. So it's something that, you know, everybody can do. And it's unisex. It's not, you know, subject to just one person. So I love that about it. It creates opportunities for me to just touch people and people to touch me and just get inspired. And yeah, that's what started. And it's going great. Like I said, I just actually got to do the birthday party for Georgia House of Representatives, which was really crazy. Kind of, like I said, it just kind of fell in my lap. I was on my henna page just scrolling through and I got a message like, hey, I'm having a birthday party, you know, are you available? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I go and I'm like, wait, that's the lady. Like, wait a second, like I've seen her. And so it was crazy and amazing. Her birthday party was so amazing. It was like a what do they call that? I can't think of it. Princess Jasmine from Aladdin, whatever. I can't even think.
Okay.
It was that theme. And,
like Arabian Nights.
There you go. And it was so beautiful, like the way it was set up. And she was so sweet and her energy was just so lively. And just to say that I could do something like that, like for me, like that was huge. Like I felt like, you know, honored to be able to go and, you know, just grace her presence and be able to share space with her and introduce myself and, you know, just build connections with people that, you know, I would have never come across had I not been a henna artist. Like it puts me in a lot of spaces that I probably would never be in, just in general, you know, different people. I've done weddings like of all different types, like, and I just get to experience different cultures and speak to people of all different walks of life. So I love it. I love anything that allows me to connect with people. I'm a people person. I'm a social butterfly. I love, you know, being able to, like I said, being able to inspire others, but also pull inspiration. Like I'm big on just looking at other people and being inspired by what they're doing and figuring out how that like works for me. And if it doesn't, like just giving them their praise, like, you know, because everything doesn't work for everybody, but you know, I love just watching people be great at what they love and, you know, learn lessons when they don't do great. And, you know, and like I said, inspire me to not get down, because I can relate to people. If you're going through something that I'm going through and I'm like, okay, she's still going, let me get my butt up, like, you know. And I think that that's like, you know, there's a lot of power in that, and like not being ashamed to like look at the next person and say, okay, like we're the same, like we're connected, because there's so much, you know, division in the world. Everything's in a category. You got to be this or that. Like instead of realizing like everybody's connected, everybody's going through the same thing in their own way, and you know, finding power in that, and like knowing that like what's for you is for you, what's for me is for me, what's for you is for you, and you know, I try to like, you know, really live that and embody that and teach my son that, because he's a boy, you know, boy mom is different. You got to be different. You got to be a little tougher. You can't be all, you're like, I wanted a girl. I'm like, I wanted a little mini me and be soft, but I have a boy. So it's like, I have to keep myself in check, you know, because he's watching me. And, you know, it's hard sometimes. I have moments like all my friends will know I'm emotional. I call crying real quick. Like, my day sucks today. But I'm also like, when I cry, I always say that's like shedding my old beliefs and growing new ones, because I cry a lot. But a lot of times, like when I let it out, I'm like, all right, old news, let's go. Like, and that's just kind of how, you know, I keep going. So all of these things tie together, because to me, they all connect me to people, and, you know, being able to live in my purpose and, you know, figure it out. I'm still figuring it out. I don't know what my purpose is. I'm still figuring it out.
You know, that's really beautiful. And I know that you said that you like doing art, and doing art, but I almost feel like when you said you have alopecia clients that come and they want to get their head covered, or even young ladies that are going into motherhood and they want to get a stamp on them that helps them guide them into motherhood. I'm sorry, adulthood. I said motherhood.
Yeah, but moms do it too for maternity. Like everybody, like I'm telling you, like it I've done
Mm-hmm.
it, girl.
I almost feel like you are people's art. Like people come to you and they come to you with an idea or an expression, and you make that come to life for them. So I know you want to do art, but I really feel like you are people's art. Like you are an artboard that people can express themselves and
You're gonna
use
make me cry. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is
I told you I'm a
what you
crybaby.
said was beautiful. Yeah, I think you're people's art. And
Oh, that's so wow. Like
yeah.
I mean, I like how you worded that, because that is literally like I always say I'm a liaison. Like I'm really good at like
Mm-hmm.
expressing how other people feel. And you tell me how you feel, I can tell them how you feel. Like, you know, like so
Yeah.
that is like a good way to like visualize that, because wow, I never saw it
Take
that way.
people's ideas and you turn it into art.
I received that. I love
Mhm.
it.
I want to capitalize off the conversation where we're talking about you just loving to help people. You have Homies with the Homeless, which is your nonprofit, and it's also been mentioned in the newspaper, The Champion. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just actually started Homies with the Homeless in December. And we did our first drop in January, like right after Christmas, which it started as just something that I wanted to do. I'm like, I want to do something this holiday to just give back, like whatever that is, like I don't know. And I had the idea, like I was going on Google trying to figure out different things, and I'm like, let me do these little blessing bags, like come up with items that would help people. And I intended on only doing like 10. Like honestly, I originally only wanted to do like 10 to 15, because I'm like, I don't know who or where I'm gonna start. I didn't want to show favoritism. I just wanted to give them out. But then I had a couple friends who volunteered to help, and we got together and came up with an idea. And we were like, let's just try to raise some money. So we started asking for donations and raised like $500 in like a month. Like I was really surprised. And we were able to give out 22 bags. And they were full bags, like with water and food, and like it was like a military pack basically. You get like the Mylar, like thermal blanket, hand warmers, socks, hats, beanies, like the whole 9 yards, in the bag form. And yeah, we gave those out, and it was really cool. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's do this every 3 months. So started doing that. And at my job, I had just started my new job, because out of all of this, I do work a 9 to 5, y'all. Like I still work. Like, so I have a 9 to 5 that I'm trying to transition out of. But yeah, so I was at work and I'm like, I just started this job. Like, what can I do, to finesse, another amount of money to help these people? So my job has a program called Passion Projects, where you can basically apply to have them like go give back to the community on your behalf. So I submitted my organization. I'm like, yeah, let's see if Homies with the Homeless can get in there. And I submitted, and they picked it. They was like, yeah, we saw what you do. It was really organized. Like, what do you need? So I made a list on Amazon of like all the items. I told myself I wanted to help like 65, 50 to 60 people. And I ordered everything. Well, no, I didn't order everything. I compiled the list, sent it to them, and they ordered everything. So they ended up ordering like $1,500 worth of stuff for me to give out. So I was able to give out like 5 tents. We made 80 bags, but only 65 of them were like full. So I have like 15 bags that are going to be like minimized and just given to a shelter. But total 80 bags we were able to give out this time. And this was only the second drop. So I was so excited about that, because I'm like, I just started this on a whim. Like, I don't know where this is going to go, where it's going to take me. Because my ideas just started getting bigger and bigger. Like, so to have them help was really a blessing, because I was not expecting that. I was not expecting them to do anything, let alone pay for everything. But it put me an opportunity to get the newspaper, because the PR from the company contacted me and was like, hey, we want to write a story about you and try to get more publicity. And I'm like, wow, like, so them doing that, hopefully, going into this next drop, I can give out 150 to 200. So that's what I've been doing with that. And that's really started the organization, because I love helping people. But outside of that, like, I've had my own struggle. I'm the oldest of 8. you know, we moved around a lot growing up. Like, so I've seen a lot. I've seen what, you know, people can go from living the life to being down here, you know, at the drop of a hat, just by life throwing them a curveball. Like, and I learned to just respect people for who they are and not where they are, because you don't know where you can be. You know, me myself, you know, in college, going through college, and if you've ever been to college, I'm sure you've been slept in your car a couple times transitioning. Like, everybody, you know, has been somewhere, you know. So I feel like it's not my place to judge. And if I was in a position, you know, to be homeless, I would want somebody to help me. Like, I would want somebody to see me and be like, I'm here and I'm comfortable. Like, let me give to this person who's uncomfortable, because what is it gonna do? And that's what made me really start it. And I loved it. I love being able to just talk to people and talk to them and hear their stories, and like realize like they're a community. Like, it's literally a community of people who are all in the same situation. They look out for each other. They, you know, have a hierarchy and have, you know, respect for one another in certain aspects. And I feel like, you know, it's a learning, you know, segment for me, like to go and speak to them and see like that they are in the positions that they are in, and they can still laugh and still, you know, joke and have good, you know, moments, even though they're struggling. And I just like to be able to be a fence, you know, to whoever I can, like in whatever way I can. And I get joy from it. I truly enjoy like packing the bags. Like, that's like my favorite part. I told you I'm a DIY. Like, so every opportunity I can to make something real cute, I'm like, oh, they love this. Like, so that part for me is already liberating to just get to do, but then to go give it out and speak to people. And then like my son, he watches, he's like, oh, we making bags for the homeless people. Like, so to see that he's 4 and he's already kind of like growing up and like seeing like how important it is to help people, like that's important to me, because, you know, I want him to feel that like growing into his adulthood, to know like how important it is to just honor your neighbor, and not, you know, you don't know who that person is spiritually. I always say like everybody is, you know, in their vessels, but you don't know who you're dealing with spiritually. You don't know who you're dealing with, you know, and what they can do for you based on, you know, who they are. And I truly stand by that, because I've been touched by some people who, you know, at one point in my life would have been never imagined that I could be touched by. You know, I've been that person who's walked out and walked past because I'm too busy, or like, you know, why are they there? Like, how'd you get here? You know, I've been in that position to judge, you know, and I learned very quickly, you cannot, because you never know what life's gonna throw at you. So I started the organization just to help and do my part. You know, I say be the change you wish to see. We complain a lot about what's happening and what's not being done, what laws are not in place. And it's like, okay, well, what can you do? You're talking all of this, but like, what can you physically do? And I feel like me doing that, it also brings blessings, because I don't want anything. I don't have any expectations. I'm not, you know, I don't want to do anything but be able to find out what they need, give to them, and, you know that I'm going to be blessed as well, just from, you know, being able to connect with them in that way.
It seems like throughout your whole story of just who you are, you're just like really intentionally manifesting what you want. And it's like, some people may think of like manifesting as, oh, I gotta say it and it's just gonna come to me. But you're really putting in the work to make sure that those things come back to you. And what I like that you said was that, you know, if an opportunity is for me, it's going to come to me. I'm going to stay open. I want to be ready to receive it. So I want to ask, why is manifestation important to you, and how do you maintain that level of just being open to receiving the things that you want to potentially see come true in your life?
It's not easy. I'm not gonna lie. I have moments, like literally, like, and this is me being totally transparent. Like, I have moments, like I have days sometimes where I get in my head and I start doubting and getting scared, and I always say, like, when I get there, like, if I can't think of anything good or positive, I don't think of nothing. Like, I literally make my mind go blank. I make it go blank to like, and I had to like really get to that point. Like, it was a lot of messing up, a lot of trial and error, like trying and failing, realizing I'm manifesting the wrong thing, saying the wrong thing, speaking things over my life, and realizing like, dang, I brought this to myself because I said that, like, you know, and having to really like be accountable when I mess up and forgive myself and, you know, show grace. And I'm, like I said, I'm not nearly where I want to be in terms of manifesting, but one thing Oprah said, I love Oprah, because she's inspirational, and in terms of like manifesting, I feel like she is the epitome of starting from the bottom and getting to the top. And she said something once to me, well, not to me, it felt like it was to me, but she said that you have to meet the vibration. And literally it comes from, you can't want it so much that you're afraid you won't have it, because from that point it becomes, now you don't believe that it's yours, because if you're afraid that you can't have it, then is it really yours? So it's almost like you have to want it and know that it's yours and just let it go, and know that if it's meant for you, it's meant for you, and if it's not, be okay with that. Be okay with it not coming, and know that whatever next opportunity is gonna be aligned for you, and that's just what it is. And I had to, it was a lot of like I said, crying and telling myself like, oh, you know, that's not meant for you, and going back and forth with myself, you know, to get to the point to where now I trust myself. I trust what's for me. I trust what's, you know, not for me. I trust what's even happening, the bad things that happen. I trust that they're a part of my journey too. Like, if these things are happening, then they must be needed for whatever reason, even though it hurts, even though it's annoying, even though it feels like this is not fair. It must be needed for whatever reason, whether that means for me to learn, whether that means for me to meet somebody who's going to put me in positions to do something that I've been wanting to do anyways. Like, whatever it is, like, there's a purpose for it, and you need to surrender to that if you want to get to where you try to go. Simple as that. Like, I'm all about, like, once I figure out the formula, I you know, I go, because I'm also really big on science. When I was in college, I was an engineering major. I love science. So I'm really big on like connecting science and spirituality. Like, I'm not one of those people, like, I grew up Christian, but I'm very transparent, and I'm open to seeing the beauty in everything, like when it comes to just religion and spirituality. So for me, when I think about, like, you know, scientifically, like when you're going and doing an experiment, like you have your hypothesis, you know, you have the experiment, and you have the solution, you go write it down. Okay, like, so when it's time for me to manifest, I do that same thing with my spirit. I sit, I write down what I think I want to do, what I think is going to happen. Then I sit and write down all the steps I think are going to take to get there. Then I sit and, you know, pray, or, you know, give it energy, meditate on it. And then throughout the day, when obstacles come, I let them happen, and I look back at my list and reevaluate. Or if I don't need to reevaluate, I keep going, and whatever obstacle is there, just deal with it as it comes, and don't let it like take my joy away, because once your joy is gone, you lose your belief, and once you lose your belief, you block your blessings. So I try to just continue to believe throughout whatever. When I'm hurting, I still believe that I can be healed. When I'm, you know, like, I just keep believing no matter what. Like, even when it's difficult, when I'm thinking negative, when I feel like a failure, when I feel like people expect so much of me and I'm not where I want to be yet, like, I just believe that one day it all makes sense, no matter what. And I, like, it sounds so cliche, and my life is full of cliches, but like, in reality, like, that's how I'm getting to where I go. Like, genuinely, like, that's how I'm getting there. It's just sitting and taking everything day by day, believing that I can do whatever I want to do, no matter what. If I want to work this 9 to 5 and go take a get, like, literally today, I was supposed to go to work tomorrow. I said, hey, y'all, I need some time off. I got a gig tomorrow. Like, and literally, like, just fit whatever I need to fit in to get where I want to go. Like, if I need to take time off from work to go to this gig, I'm going to do it if I can. If I can't do it, then it may not be for me that time. Like, and just continue to do that to where eventually I won't have to go to work. I keep a job because I need to show that I can pay my bills. Like, because the gigs right now aren't consistent enough to, like, do that. And I'm realistic. Like, I'm not trying to appeal to the world so much that I'm keeping up a, like, standard where I feel so much pressure, because Instagram will do that. Facebook will do that. It'll make you feel like I need to look like I'm doing this and that and that. And then it's like you're not getting nothing done because you're trying to look like you're doing something. I'm going to just post here and there. Like, sometimes I had to let go of the, like, idea of posting every other day, because that's what content creators do, right? You're posting every other day, every 3 days, every 4 days. Like, and it's a lot of pressure. I had to let that go. Me, for my journey. I'm not saying anybody else should do that because everybody's different. But for me, I had to let the idea of Instagram being a certain way for me go because it was making me feel behind. I was looking at other people's content, looking at how everybody else was posting so organized and strategically and feeling like, fuck, I'm failing. Shit, I'm not doing this right. Like, it's not going right. Like, So I had to let that go for my journey for now until I get to the point to where I have stuff to post. Now I have interviews to post. Now things are coming consistently to where I can post how I want because I have stuff to post. Like, but when I was trying to force it, I was failing to myself. I was feeling like I was failing. I was looking at all my friends who were so successful with social media. Even my boyfriend, he got 23,000 followers. I'm like, how? Like, I need to get there. Like, what's going on? Like, and I was feeling like I wasn't doing great. So in my mind, I'm not doing great. So now I'm not doing great because that's what I'm thinking about. So now I'm continuously not attracting opportunities. I'm not getting booked. I'm not doing what I want to do because my mind is powerful. So whatever I think about, it's going to be what it is. So I had to really just believe that whatever I'm doing right now is what I'm supposed to be. And that's great. Even if it's just getting up and cooking breakfast and being a mom, that's great. And tomorrow is going to be great. And today I'm going to write 10 things I'm grateful for, even though I don't feel like it. And just kind of keeping my mind out of like that space that allows me to not believe. And that's, I'll leave it there because y'all, I can talk all day. I really can.
No, we love it and we appreciate it. We're actually going to hop into our next segment where we play cards. I believe that Instagram is probably going to turn off in 3 minutes, so I'm going to restart the live.
Okay.
So make sure y'all come back in and hop back in. All of our viewers hop back in. I'll be coming back in like 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.